My head used to itch a lot after washing, but then I discovered these tips and my head does not itch anymore, and I was able to reduce the flaking. So the tip number 1 is to swap your shampoo and conditioner. Even some shampoos that are advertised as psoriasis friendly can actually irritate your skin. Think of a tea gel, for example. When I would use it, it would actually not reduce itching at all. I don't know really what it was doing, but nothing good for sure. And then I swapped to a shampoo that doesn't have any toxic chemicals or irritating chemicals like sulfates, for example, sodium laureth sulfate or sodium lauryl sulfate, I believe. For short, they're called SLS and SLES, and paraben-free shampoos and conditioners. For example, Faith in Nature produces just those kinds of shampoos. The reason they are added in the ingredient is that SLS, for example, or SLES, they're helping the products to foam very well, and parabens extend their shelf life so that they don't get moldy very fast. Parabens, apart from being harmful for the skin or irritating to the skin, are also harmful for reproductive organs and can potentially cause cancer. And SLS or SLES are known irritants to the skin, and some of their side effects include itchiness, dermatitis, and eczema. So exactly those things that we are trying to avoid. The next tip that I have to reduce itchiness and flaking is to wash your hair, but not too often. When we don't wash our hair enough, then the layer of sebum, which is the natural oil on the skin that we have, is mixed with things like sweat, hair products, etc. And then it can cause more flakiness and itchiness. It's the same symptoms that you will have with psoriasis. But if you wash it too frequently, then your hair will start producing the sebum, the natural oil, too frequently. Then you will end up with the same problem. So stay in the middle, try and wash it often enough, but not too often. For me, that is once a week. I find that it suits me best, and I was able to achieve that by incrementally decreasing the amount of time I wash my hair. If I used to wash every 2 days, let's say, I don't really remember how often I used to wash it. It was so long ago when I switched to washing only once a week. But if I was washing every 2 days, then I would start washing every 3 days for a couple of weeks and then increase the distance between the washes. So I would wash every 4 days, every 5 days, every 6 days, until you get to the point where you think that you can do away with washing it just that often. Tip number 3 is to exfoliate your scalp. The best way to do that is through warm oil treatment. The flakes get soaked in oil, and then it's easier to get rid of them through washing than otherwise. The oil keeps the flakes moist for a long time, unlike water that will eventually evaporate, and then you can massage your head and get rid of the excess flakes and wash them off like usual. In order to do the warm oil treatment, you will need a small pan, coconut oil or hemp oil, or alternatively almond oil. The cold pressed varieties would be the best, as you don't want to put oils that can oxidize easily onto your skin. You will need a hair comb, an old t-shirt or a hair cap, scalp massager if you have one, but it's not necessary, and non-irritating shampoo and conditioner. So the first thing that you'll need to do is to warm up the oil in a pan, but do not boil it. Just bring it to the temperature that is not too hot for your finger to be put in. Then, using a hair comb, Divide the sections of your hair and dip your fingers into the oil and cover those sections one by one. Try and cover them as best as you can. For the back of your head, just massage the oil in, as it's hard to divide into sections and see what you're really doing. When done, comb your hair together and wrap in an old t-shirt or put a hair cap on. Just bear in mind that the t-shirt will definitely have oil stains on it. So for this reason, choose the old t-shirt that you don't mind getting stained. You can keep your head soaked in the oil overnight, or you can rinse it in just about an hour or two. Before washing the oil off, you can use the head massager to loosen up the buildup of the skin. To wash the oil off, lather your head thoroughly and rinse a couple of times. I usually do about 2 or 3 washes to get rid of it. Then use the hair conditioner if you need it. Tip number 4 that I have to reduce itchiness and flaking is to swap your sugars. Refined sugar is very toxic and very inflammatory. Therefore, it actually speeds up the buildup of the skin and also contributes to itchiness. Every time I would eat a lot of sugar, when I would overdo it, then I would start itching a lot, and especially during the night, I would wake up itching myself. That's how bad it gets. If you would like to learn which sugars you should replace and which ones to use, then watch my next video. Next tip that I have is to exfoliate. Number 3 is to exfoliate